Finally this week, remembering Tom Wolfe, the author of such bestsellers as The Right Stuff and Bonfire of the Vanities, died this week at the age of 88. Roger Kimball is the editor and publisher of The New Criterion and publisher of Encounter Books. Welcome, Roger. Good to have you here.
Good to see you.
So what do you think the enduring legacy of Tom Wolfe as a journalist and a novelist is?
Well, Paul, I think he has a great legacy, really. His fundamental theme in both his novels and his journalism was about the baneful effects of the transformation of moral ideas into imperative fashion accessories.
Explain that.
And what I mean by that is he saw how fashion, when elevated into a kind of moral imperative, was both trivializing, but also domineering and tyrannical and exclusionary.
Give us an illustration.
So, for example, in his famous essay, Radical Chic from 1970, the centerpiece of which is a party at Lenny Bernstein's house, a famous conductor, famous supporter of left-wing causes. And this was a party for the Black Panthers. Now, the Black Panthers are distant memory now, but they were a murderous group of self-declared Maoist revolutionaries who wanted to create their own country within a country, and they embraced violence. They were kind of that day's MS-13.
And here's the scene with them at a Manhattan salon.
Well, it's at the Bernstein's 13-room duplex Park Avenue apartment, you know, with the maze with the silver salvers and the little Roquefort cheese balls.
I remember
and
the lead.
Nuts.
These are good.
It was pretty funny. So, but you know, it seems funny in retrospect, but we now realize that this kind of I mean, what Tom Wolfe understood was that this kind of trivialization had very bad effects, because what it did was it made many moral ideas into really clubs with which to beat your enemies. So we see it today. We see it on campuses today. You know, you can't wear a certain kind of Halloween costume. In fact, you can't even utter the word of a certain kind of Halloween costume, whether it's a sombrero or whatever, because this is considered to be politically incorrect. So Tom Wolfe would not be able to write that essay or publish it today.
Well,
he would not be able to do that.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, because it's something I've been thinking about. I mean, because Radical Chic took on the ultimate sacred cows of the day, which was radical politics in the 60s. And he took on a lot of other sacred cows across his career. And he did it for magazines that now would be considered center-left magazines, and I guess they were then. New York Magazine, Esquire, and you don't think he would be able to do that today?
I am absolutely convinced he wouldn't. For example,
you couldn't have it. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, he was insufficiently reverent about the reigning pieties of his day, which is one of the things that made his journalism so delicious.
Right, especially for young people. You loved it.
Yes, I mean, absolutely. I remember when I first read Tom Wolfe in high school, I thought, my God, I've never seen anything like this.
This is fun. Exactly.
It was fun, but it was also revealing, because he was very accurate in his sociology. He really got, he studied this stuff. He got everything. He got the cheese balls. He got the silver salvers. He got, you know, what people were wearing, how they comported themselves, what their pretensions were, what they wanted to be like. And he really understood that and was able, he had his finger on the pulse of the zeitgeist, but was able to translate it in this unbelievably inveigling prose, this prose that was just a lot crackled with energy and insight.
And today you couldn't be able to do that because identity politics is
I think
so
that's absolutely right.
in American
that's
fiction
right.
and journalism.
That's right. So I mean, for example, he deliberately and provocatively kept referring to the Black Panthers as Negroes. Now, already in 1970, that was you weren't supposed to do that. You're supposed to call them blacks. Yeah. So if that would have been, you know, blue-lined instantly by his editor at New York Magazine. But if you continue down that path, so you can't use this word. You can't.
Well, that was used in a lot of circles at the time.
Well, I think, but he talks about the way in which the Negro had been replaced by black, and that was the politically correct thing to say. But that's just one example. He wouldn't be able to discuss the things that he discussed in the irreverent and satirical way that he did discuss them because of political correctness. And the satire is important because effective satire depends on a horizon of shared values that you are appealing to contrast with the satire. And Tom Wolfe's shared values that he was appealing to were essentially bourgeois values. And that, of course, is what the radical chic movement was all against. They didn't want to be bourgeois.